I welcomed my daughter's former boyfriend to her wedding, and I stand firm in my role in dissolving her marriage. Judge me as you will, but my duty as a father comes first, and I don't waver on my choices. My daughter, Lila, 28F, was wed to a man named Simon, 30M, for several years. They're now apart, and in my view, it's for the better. From the start, I couldn't stand Simon. He was weak, a chef by trade, and while I'll grant he had skill with food, that didn't satisfy me. He'd studied at a culinary institute, earning just enough to get by, but I never saw him as a man capable of guiding a family. He lacked drive, that spark of ambition. He was courteous, diligent, and kind, but to me he was spineless. Lila met him at a professional conference where he was catering in the background, and that alone spoke volumes to me. Still, she adored him, so I held my tongue, though not without reservations. They courted for 3 years, and when their wedding day arrived, I didn't openly oppose it, but I wasn't about to stay silent either. So yes, I invited her ex, Nathan. I kept it secret, not even telling my wife, and certainly not Simon, who had no clue Nathan was Lila's past love. Nathan arrived, sat quietly at the back, watching. Lila saw him naturally, but dismissed it, and went through with her vows. Time passed, and outwardly their marriage seemed stable, but I knew otherwise. My wife, my sons, and a few relatives began sowing seeds of doubt. Subtle, nothing overt. Just small remarks. Don't you want to see the world? Wouldn't a larger home be nice? What if he had a steadier career? Gradually, Lila grew restless. Finances were strained, and Simon's job, though she valued it, wasn't enough. Tensions rose, and when a major fight erupted, I gave things a gentle push. I won't deny it. I worked with others to ensure the disagreement didn't fade. Simon left that night to clear his head or head to work, and I made one call. To Nathan. He dropped by as a concerned friend, said the right words, listened, made her smile, reminded her of what was. I didn't script his actions, but I opened the door and he stepped through. Now, Simon's gone. Nathan's around more, not officially with Lila yet, but I see the path ahead, and I believe I saved her. Simon could never provide the life she deserves. Nathan has the career, the roots, the principles. He belongs with our family. I have no regrets. I'm not seeking absolution. I just want to know. Am I the villain, or was I the only one bold enough to act when no one else would? The plan gains traction. Lila and Simon are teetering. Things are unfolding as I'd hoped. Weeks have passed since the cracks began to show, and with Nathan's involvement, Lila and Simon's marriage is fraying. It all intensified after Simon confronted Lila about Nathan. Somehow he realized Nathan wasn't just a friend who conveniently reappeared. Simon never knew Nathan was her ex, not even at the wedding when they exchanged handshakes. Nathan played his part flawlessly, offering congratulations with a smile, while Simon remained oblivious. Someone must have spilled the truth, perhaps a mutual acquaintance or a relative at a gathering. Whoever it was, they did me a favor. Simon's now wary, angry, and trapped. He's upset about Nathan's frequent presence, his constant availability. Lila called me in tears after their clash, saying Simon accused her of being too close to Nathan and disrespecting their marriage. I did what any father would. I soothed her. I told her it's normal to have friends, and if Simon feels threatened, it's his insecurity showing. I suggested this might be controlling behavior, urging her to question if she could live this way forever. She listened. Behind the scenes, I spoke with Nathan again. He was candid, admitting he never stopped caring for Lila and would marry her in an instant if given the chance. I told him the opportunity was near, and if he's serious, we need to make the final move. We have a strategy. Nothing forceful, just more presence, more comfort, more moments for Lila to weigh what she has against what she could have. With the fractures already widening, It won't take long. Say what you want, but I'm doing this because I believe Lila deserves more. I don't despise Simon. I just never thought he was enough. Nathan is the future I always envisioned for her. It's done. Simon's out. Nathan's moment has arrived. It took months, but it's over. Lila and Simon are divorcing. It wasn't as swift as I'd expected. After Simon's confrontation about Nathan, Lila persuaded him to try counseling. She wanted to salvage what they had. I didn't interfere, letting her follow through, knowing it wouldn't hold. In therapy, she even mentioned Nathan, questioning if Simon was being fair. And what did Simon do? He relented, saying she could have friends. That was his flaw. Too yielding, too trusting. The breaking point came at a family dinner we hosted. I ensured Nathan sat near Lila, close enough to stir something subtle. Simon seethed quietly through the meal, barely eating. The air was heavy, and Lila tried to ignore it. After dinner, their hushed argument turned fierce. Nathan stepped in to calm things, but it backfired. Simon accused them both, claiming they were scheming against him. For a moment, I feared we'd overplayed our hand. Perhaps Lila would pull away from both. But then she defended Nathan, calling him a friend and telling Simon to stop imagining things. The moment it all unraveled was sudden. No one's sure how it escalated, but it did. Simon grabbed Lila's arm, insisting they leave. She pulled away sharply. Nathan rose. Words flew, voices grew loud, and then fists. Nathan and Simon were grappling on the floor. Lila screamed and rushed, not to Simon but to Nathan, checking on him, helping him up. Simon saw it, stood slowly, his face battered, and said, "So that's how it is." Lila tried to follow him, likely to explain, but I intervened, telling Simon he was pathetic for doubting his wife. That was the end. Lila stayed in her old room that night, sobbing. My wife and I comforted her, suggesting this might be a sign that maybe it was for the best. Quietly, the family felt it too. Relief, even joy. She stayed with us a few days, healing. Then she said she wanted to return home to sort things out. We didn't stop her, knowing it was finished. My son checked the house first. Simon was there, packing with friends. Half the place was cleared out. Later, Lila called, crying. Simon had left divorce papers and his ring. It's done. We succeeded. Now Nathan can step into his rightful place. He's been by Lila's side since it all collapsed. If there's any fairness, she'll see the true man was always there. I'll update when it's official, but it's only a matter of time. 2 years on. A new era without Simon. 2 years have passed since it all fell apart, or rather, came together. The divorce was smooth. Lila and Simon divided everything fairly. No disputes over assets. Honestly, Simon could have taken more, but he didn't. He left quietly, no fight, just signed and walked away. To me, that's not just generosity, it's weakness. He was always too soft, never knew when to stand firm. That's likely why it was so easy to orchestrate this. During the divorce, Nathan was there for Lila, supportive, constant. They began dating almost immediately, and Nathan saw it as his second chance, proud of it. Once, he showed up at the courthouse, almost taunting Simon, but it didn't faze him. Lila asked Nathan to ease off to avoid prolonging the process, and he agreed, saying he was just thrilled to be with her. A year after the divorce, Nathan and Lila wed in a small, lovely ceremony. No objections, no tension, no Simon, just family, friends, and a future we all embraced. Now they're expecting their first child, our first grandchild. My wife and I are overjoyed. Nathan's thriving, providing, and preparing for fatherhood effortlessly. He fits our family in ways Simon never could. As for Simon, he's gone, moved to another city, cooking at some eatery. We don't know where, nor do we care. He's someone else's concern now. He might have pieced together what we did. but it doesn't matter. He was never right for her. Now Lila's with the man she was meant for, and our family feels whole. The truth emerged, and Lila broke. I don't know where to begin. Everything we built, everything we thought we were safeguarding, is collapsing. It happened at Lila and Nathan's home, just the two of them. Nathan called us in a panic, saying Lila had collapsed during a fight and was rushed to the hospital. He sounded rattled but gave few details. My wife and I raced to the ER, unsure of what had occurred. When we arrived, it was grim. Lila was unconscious, doctors watching her and the baby closely. We were terrified. My wife couldn't stop sobbing. Later, my son, her brother, confronted Nathan, demanding answers. Nathan, looking defeated, admitted they'd had a massive argument. Lila discovered he'd been unfaithful. Then, in the heat of the moment, Nathan slipped. He blurted out that we, our family, had sabotaged her marriage to Simon, that we orchestrated it, pushed Simon out so Nathan could take his place, manipulated her into doubting Simon's worth. He said Lila froze when he spoke, didn't shout, just stared, then collapsed. When she woke, her screams haunt me. "Why did you do this? Why did you deceive me? You ruined my life!" They sedated her. My wife collapsed in tears. I was speechless. My son nearly struck Nathan in the hospital corridor, but held back. Nathan tried to justify himself, the cheating, the truth slipping, but it was irrelevant. He didn't mean to hurt her, he said, but it wasn't supposed to end like this. Yet it did. Now our daughter, pregnant, betrayed, and shattered, barely acknowledges us. The truth is out, and I don't know if we can ever repair this. You're vile. Simon was the better man. Lila finally woke, and facing her was like looking into the eyes of someone broken by those she trusted most. She was frail, still recovering, but her voice was firm when she asked, "Why did you do it?" There was no hiding anymore. I confessed I never liked Simon, saw him as weak, unfit for her. I admitted we subtly turned her against him, planting doubts over time. I said we only wanted what was best. She didn't cry at first, just stared. Then, her voice shaking, she said, "You're vile." All of you. When my wife reached for her, Lila recoiled as if scalded. Then came the words that cut deepest. Simon was a better man than Nathan could ever be. He loved me, cared for me, and you traded him for a cheater. We had no response, no defense. Tearfully, she called the nurse and said, "They're not allowed here. I don't want them near me." We protested, begged, but the doctor intervened. "If you keep upsetting her, we'll call security. Her wishes are clear." We left, devastated. Outside, we confronted Nathan. My wife, sobbing, accused him of betrayal. We'd trusted him, believed he was the right choice. He looked at us, almost smirking, and said, "I'm not perfect, but I didn't destroy my daughter's life out of arrogance." Then he left. Now we wait, reaching out to relatives, pleading for them to mediate, to let us see Lila again. But deep down, I fear that chance may be gone forever. She cut us all off. It's over, not just between Lila and Nathan, but between Lila and our family. After her discharge, she didn't return home. She went to a friend's place, disconnected her phone, and only contacted a few loyal friends from before this mess. When family tried to reach her, even those we enlisted to speak for us, she asked one question: "Were you part of it?" Some dodged, claiming ignorance, but she pressed, and they admitted they knew, enabled it, or stayed silent. That was enough. She didn't rage or curse. She just erased them from her life, her contacts, her future. Her old friends, uninvolved in our scheme, were livid when they learned what we'd done. They rallied around her, helped her secure a lawyer. With their support, she protected her finances, locked accounts, and filed papers that left Nathan with nothing. He was out of the house in a week, moved in with his mistress, but that fell apart. The scandal spread, and she left him. He's tried to slink back, but Lila ignores him. We consulted a lawyer, hoping to negotiate something, but with her mental health and high-risk pregnancy at stake, we were told the courts wouldn't favor us. So we've backed off, for now. Even her brother, who was complicit, is broken. They were once close. Now she won't speak to him. He feels sick over his role, having trusted us. He and his wife considered a desperate move, finding Simon. Perhaps he's the only one Lila might hear. But we don't know where Simon is. He vanished post-divorce, working at a restaurant in another city. No address, no contact. Lila's due date is weeks away. We don't know if we'll meet our grandchild. We've lost her, and it may be forever. A child, a restraining order, and a culinary triumph. Months have passed since Lila gave birth to a healthy daughter. We've never seen her, and likely never will. After Nathan's infidelity, our role in destroying her marriage to Simon, and her hospital collapse, the court acted swiftly. Hearing the full story, our manipulation, Nathan's betrayal, the judge issued a permanent restraining order against us. No contact, no visits, no rights. My wife wept like never before, clinging to hope of forgiveness. That hope is dead. Lila has severed us entirely, and we can't fault her. Nathan tried to worm his way back, calling, pleading, but Lila shut him out. Cold, resolute. His life's unraveling, his job's shaky, his mistress left, his co-workers shun him. Our son, Lila's friend, took a bold step. He found Simon. To our astonishment, Simon now runs a Michelin-starred restaurant in a prestigious city, exclusive, elegant, booked months in advance. A staff member told our son the restaurant had pursued Simon for years, recognizing his talent. After the divorce, with nothing left, they convinced him. He arrived broken, hollow, but found success through dedication. Now he's a respected chef, admired and accomplished. Our son wanted to speak to him, confess, apologize, but shame stopped him. The staff said Simon was unavailable without an appointment, and he left, humbled. That moment crushed us. We discarded a good man who loved Lila, replacing him with a deceiver. Lila's alone by choice, trusting no family. We're alone by consequence. Simon's found his path. We've ruined ours. A chance meeting and a last-ditch effort. It was a normal day. My wife was shopping when she saw Lila with her son, waiting at an organic market. She dropped everything, ran to her weeping, begging for a chance to explain. Lila stood unmoved, clutching her child, her eyes a storm of sorrow and fury. She didn't yell, her voice icy. "You've shamed yourself. Your greed destroyed everything." My wife tried to justify, saying she wanted to protect her, give her a better life. Lila cut her off. "You stole my joy. You replaced a man who loved me with a liar. For what? Status?" Some bystanders stepped in, thinking it was a public row. Lila asked them, "What would you do if your mother ruined your marriage behind your back?" They fell silent, retreating. Then Lila delivered the final blow. "I have no mother anymore. You're breaking the restraining order. If I see you again, I'll call the police." She walked away, holding her son, never glancing back. We learned Lila's living with her best friend and her friend's husband, who are helping her heal and keep her safe. Her support network is unbreakable. No one will relay our messages or letters. We're fully cut off. In desperation, I did something unthinkable. I used every contact I had, called, emailed, waited weeks, and secured a reservation at Simon's restaurant under a business alias. He doesn't know it's me. I planned to go, to plead for his help, not just to mend what I broke, but because he's the only one who might reach Lila, the only one who truly loved her for herself, not our vision of her. I pray it's not too late. A bitter reckoning. The reservation night arrived. We entered Simon's restaurant, dressed our best, but nothing prepared us for its elegance. Modern, warm, alive with laughter from celebrities, moguls, influencers. I recognized a couple from a magazine, radiant, reminding me of Lila's spark when she looked at Simon before we extinguished it. The meal was flawless, the finest we'd had in years. My wife fought tears, whispering we were cruel to deem him unworthy. She was right. When Simon emerged from the kitchen, he greeted diners with charm and humility. But when he saw us, his warmth vanished. His gaze turned cold, distant. A waiter politely said our reservation was over, time to leave. I stood, saying, "Please, we need to speak with Simon." He nodded, sat across us, composed but unreadable. "Why are you here?" he asked flatly. I swallowed and said, "We made a grave mistake. We're asking you to return, to us, to Lila." He gave a tired, humorless laugh. "Are you serious?" I nodded. He leaned back, his voice cutting. "So, after you poisoned my marriage, manipulated your daughter, and forced me out, you want me back in your family? What changed? Nathan didn't pan out?" We were silent. My wife cried. I told him Nathan cheated, Lila's broken, and she won't speak to us. We apologized sincerely. He shook his head. "She has a child by the man you chose over our marriage, and now you're begging me to take her back. Are you out of your minds?" His disgust was quiet, controlled, and devastating. A woman in a chef approached, confident, apron dusted. "Is everything all right?" she asked. Simon glanced at her, then at us. "These are my ex-in-laws. They ruined my marriage." She faced us. "I'm his fiancée. I won't let anyone betray him again." Simon stood. "Leave. I don't want your apologies or money." He told a staff member, "Refund their payment. I want no trace here." Stunned, humiliated, we left as diners watched, not curious but judging, as if they knew our sins. We sought salvation, but received what we earned. Months later, months have passed since we sat in Simon's restaurant, where he saw us as strangers, or worse, the architects of his pain. We hoped he'd forgive, help us, but he didn't, and shouldn't have. We tried letters, calls, messages through kin. Nothing. He refused us. Our son visited the restaurant hoping for a chance, but Simon wouldn't meet him. No plea could open that door. Lila, too, is gone. She left town quietly, telling only a few where she went. She's in another city, raising her son alone. We've never met him. A single photo, sent anonymously, is all we have. We stare at it as if it could reclaim what's lost, but it doesn't. The restraining order lapsed, but we haven't approached her. Shame and fear stop us. One of Lila's friends met us once, warning us never to come near. We're not welcome in her world. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.